All right, so once again, we're going to try and get through this set of notes without Noelle interrupting. She went back to sleep, I think. So our next set of notes is volume of figures. And this includes all of them: prisms, cubes, cylinders, pyramids, cones, cylinder, all of them. All right. So to find the volume of rectangular prisms and cubes, this is the easy one. This is the one you guys know the most often. It's volume equals length times width times height. So we're going to run through these first three examples pretty quick because they're the easy ones that we know. So the volume of this rectangular prism, our length is 9, width is 17, height is 24. So the volume equals 9 times 17 times 24. We're just going to type it in a calculator and be done with it. So the volume is 3,672 centimeters, but now we're talking about volume. It's cubed, so it's volume or centimeters cubed. So that's the volume of that rectangular prism. So now to find the volume of this rectangular prism, we're just going to multiply the length times the width times the height. So we have 10 times 14 times 4.5. And once again, just type it in your calculator. No reason to use all of the space to multiply by hand. So we have 630 inches cubed. And there we go. All right, and our last prism. So we have volume equals 8 times 12 times 39. So the volume of this one is 3,744 cubic feet. All right, so those are the easy ones. The next set is basically all the other prisms plus cylinders, and then we'll get to cones and pyramids. So to find the volume of all other prisms and cylinders, the general formula is the volume equals capital B times H. Capital B, in this case, is the area of the base, and the base of the shape is the side that gives it its name, and which I'll talk about more when we get to the examples. Then H is just the height. All right. So our first example, so example 2, is a triangular prism. So that means the base is the triangle. So we need to find the area of the triangle first. So base triangle. So to find the area of a triangle, it's base times height divided by 2. So the height is 7.3. And the base length of that triangle is 12 because it's this length here. So we have 7.3 times 12 divided by 2. So 7.3 times 12 is 87.6. And then we have to divide that by 2. So we have 43.8. So that is the area of this base triangle right here. Okay. Now, to find the volume, we're going to take this. So the volume of this, the area of this base, so 43.8, and multiply it by the height of the prism, which is this height right here. So we're going to multiply it by 5. So multiply that by 5. So the volume of this triangular prism is 219 feet cubed. Okay, so we find the area of the base. So in this case, it was a triangle. Multiply the area of the base times the height. You get your final volume. All right, so for B, this is a trapezoidal prism, which means the trapezoid is the base. It's not laying on that trapezoid, but that's the one that gives it its name, so it's the base. So we're going to find the area of this trapezoid first. So base trapezoid is our first step. So we're going to find the area of the trapezoid. So remember, to find the area of the trapezoid, it's base 1 plus base 2. So base 1, base 2, so 14 plus 36 times the height And this is the height of this trapezoid. So it's 17.9 divided by 2. So 14 plus 36. So we have 50 times 17.9 divided by 2. So 50 times 17.9 is 895. And then if we divide that by 2, we get 447.5. So this is the area of our base. Okay. So now to find the volume, we're going to take the area of our base, so 447.5, and multiply it by the height of our prism. But remember, since the base is the trapezoid, if we laid it down on the face of the trapezoid, this is going to be our height because it gives it the width of our prism. Yeah, we're on a prism right now. So we're going to multiply this by 25. So the volume of this trapezoidal prism is 11,187.5 meters cubed. And there we go. All right. So this triangular prism is a fun one because we need to find the area of this triangle. However, we have the height, but we don't know the length of the base, but we know the length of the hypotenuse. So our first step for this is actually using the Pythagorean theorem to find the length of the base of this triangle. So we have x squared plus 28 squared equals 32.5 squared. All right, and because we know how to solve this already, I'm going to run through the steps without explaining them, and you guys can just do them on your paper. All right, so looks like our base is 16.5. And now we don't have a whole lot of room in this space, so we're going to find the area of the triangle up here. So our base triangle, remember, is the length of the base times the height. So we have 16.5 times 28, which is our height, divided by 2. I'm just going to type this in the calculator all at once to save some time. So we have times 28 divided by 2. So the area of this triangle is 231. Now, to find our volume, we're going to take the area of our base, so 231 times the height, which in this case is the width. So we're talking about this length right here, and that should be a 31. So we're going to multiply this by 31. So our volume is 7,161 kilometers cubed. And there we go. All right, so now we have a cylinder that we want to find the volume of, and it works the same way. So you're going to find the area of the base, which in this case, the base of a cylinder is a circle. So we're going to find the area of the circle and multiply it times its height. Okay, so we're going to find the area of our base circle, which is radius squared times pi. So we have, our radius is 18, so we have 18 squared times pi. So 18 squared is 324. So we have 324 pi. All right, and we're going to leave it in terms of pi, and that's okay. We can still do the next part. So then to find the volume, you take the area of our base, so 324 pi, times the height of our cylinder. So the height is 15. So we're just going to do 324 times 15. So the volume of this cylinder is 4,875 pi inches cubed. And there we go. All right, so that takes care of prisms and cylinders. Our next two are cones and pyramids. And I wish I had you in my classroom to show you why this is true. But any shape that comes to a point is 1/3 of the volume of the corresponding prism or cylinder. So if we're talking about pyramids, we find the volume of its corresponding prism. So the area of the base times the height. But then if it comes to a point like a pyramid does, you multiply it by 1/3, or you can divide by 3. The same thing works for a cone. So cones correspond to cylinders. So you find the volume of the cylinder, which is the area of the circle times the height, and then multiply by 1/3 or divide by 3, because remember, they're the same. All right, so our first pyramid, we have a rectangular pyramid, because the base is not square, it's a 10 by 11 base. So to find our volume first, we're going to find the area of our base. So we're going to find the area of the base rectangle here, which is just length times width. So we have 10 times 11, which is 110. All right. Now, to find the volume of the whole pyramid, we're going to do 1/3 times the area of the base, so 110, times the height. And it tells us our height. And the height of a pyramid is from the center of the base to the point of the pyramid. So that height is 16. So 110 times 16 is 1,760. And then you're going to multiply that by 1/3, or you can just divide by 3. It is the same thing. So the volume of this is 586, and it's 0.6666667, which if you want to write that as a decimal is 0.67, you can, but we all know that is the same as the fraction 2/3, so it's 586 2/3 inches cubed. And there we go. All right, now we have a triangular pyramid. So we're going to find the area of this triangle first, because it's our base triangle. So our base triangle area. So its height is 7.5. That's what this arrow is pointing to, is the height of this base triangle. And the length, or the base of that triangle, is 12. So we have 12 times 7.5 divided by 2. So 12 times 7.5 is 90. So we have 90 divided by 2, which is 45. So now to find the volume, it's 1/3 times the area of the base. So we have 45 times the height of our pyramid. So our height is what this arrow is pointing to, because it's from the center of our base up to our point. So it's times 10. So 45 times 10 is 450. And then 1/3 of 450 is 150. So our volume is 150 millimeters cubed. And there we go. All right, so volumes of cones. You just find the area of the circle, multiply by the height, and divide by 3. So let's find the area of our base circle, which we know is radius squared times pi. So our radius in this one is 9. So we have 9 squared times pi, which is 81 pi. And remember, we can leave this in terms of pi here. Just makes it a little bit easier right now. So our volume, we have 1/3 times the area of our base, so 81 pi, times the height of our cone, so times 17. So 81 times 17 is 1,377 pi. And then if we multiply by 1/3 or divide by 3, we get 459 pi yards cubed. And that's our volume for this cone. All right, and then to the last one, I'm going to find the volume of this cone. So our diameter is 5, which means our radius is 2.5. So we're going to find the area of our base circle. So we have 2.5 squared times pi. So 2.5 squared is 6.25 pi. Remember, leave it in terms of pi. So our volume is 1/3 times 6.25 times the height of our cone. And in this case, the height is what you would say is the length. So we have times 8. So 6.25 times 8 is 50. So we have, nope, forgot our pi symbol there. So we have 1/3 times 50 pi. And divide by 3 or multiply by 1/3. And you get 16.666666 again. So we can just make this 16 2/3 pi inches cubed. And there we go. That is the volume of figures.